Hi, my name is Akeem, and I am the founder, chairman, CEO, president, vice president, and the dean of Ran-DomU University. We offer a vast variety of courses, everything from psychology of the fake alpha male to cringe studies to pause 101. Now, if you're interested in joining this university, please call or text the number on the screen at 1555 Ran-DomU. Are you ready? The other day, I went on some type of crazy tangent, just spewing off at the mouth, some crazy rhetoric about how I'd be Mike the Ripper, ripping nutsacks off of guys and just leaving an absolute bloody, gory mess all over a prison cell as if it was some women's menstrual cycle that had gone completely wrong. And I was starting to think, how phones are always detecting things that you're talking about, it seems, sort of like if you were having a conversation about buying speakers or something like that, and you look at Amazon, and next thing you know, you have some speaker deal where you can get an entire set for $40 for some premium package or something like that. Or as if you were like, hey, I'd like to go back to college, and all of a sudden you start seeing advertisements for Ran-DomU University for free degrees, that kind of stuff. Well, I came across a crazy story the other day, as today we're going to dive into the book and education of cringe studies. To cringe studies, where a man in Louisiana got sentenced to 50 years in prison for raping a 14-year-old and getting her pregnant. Yes, absolutely wild story, but it doesn't end there. They decided that also they were going to physically castrate this individual, which, hey, in any other circumstances, I'd find this absolutely inhumane. But in this circumstance, I find it justified, as if you do such a heinous act, yes, I do believe that these are rightful acts. Now, it does seem crazy. Now, it also makes you think, they said physical castration, which might lead some to think, is there another type of castration? Yes, there is another type of ball removal. That process is called chemical castration, where yes, they would just jab your peach over and over again with some type of lethal injection where it was going to just melt your nutsack. Where you just, think about a balloon, right? Where it's all pumped up and everything, and the air just slowly just dissipates out of it until there's just nothing left, until it's just floppy. That's basically what your nutsack would be at the end of the day if you went through that process. And that's the other option that they had, but they decided, no, we're just going to cut them. And I'm starting to think, since they already went, pretty hard on this guy, are they even going to give him anesthetic? Are they actually going to give this man any anesthetic or anesthesia to numb the process? Or are they just going to be like, no, cut him. I don't care how much pain this man is in. They don't care how much he screams. So there was this scene in Saw, not Saw, but it was Hostel 2. At the very end of the movie where this woman had this guy in this mega vice grip, and she just ripped off this entire man's entire groin. It was horrible. That man screamed so loud, it was so piercing and just scary that it would actually make Hannibal Lecter shed tears. It was awful. It was one of the most disturbing sounds I've ever heard in my entire life. And that was some great acting in a movie that was probably a C+ if I'm gonna give it a rating. But nonetheless, that's kind of how I felt about listening to this story. But it also made me think, is that really gonna get it done? Really, if you are going to remove this man's balls, I get it. He committed a terrible crime and he needs to be punished in the worst way possible. But if you're just removing the balls, you're just neutering this guy. It's just like a dog who had his balls removed, but he could still technically have sex. He could technically still do the crime again. The only difference is he can't get anybody pregnant. Now, obviously he's locked up for a really long time and he's probably not going to see the light of day, and he's going to be locked in there like John Doe and he's finished. But I feel like it's an incomplete process, because I just feel like you're not doing enough here. They're thinking they're doing preventative measures. Well, if you're doing preventative measures, if he was to ever escape and get out of prison, well, he still has the shaft. Unfortunately, don't you need to remove the shaft to make sure he never can fully do this again? Now, yeah, maybe if you remove his nuts, he might turn a little foo-foo and he might not want to do that anymore. Maybe he'll turn to men cheeks and start trying to take booties. But either way, the point is he's not supposed to be raping people anymore. Whether it's man, woman, dog, it doesn't matter. He needs to stop. So I figured, why don't you just remove all of it? It just seems like it'd make more sense to me if you actually got rid of balls, ding dong, and all. You got to remove the entire fruit bowl. You can't just leave just that. That's not enough. I don't know. Leave it in the comments if you think that, well, if you agree or not. Is that enough? Because here's the story here.
Censored, a man in Louisiana will have a permanent reminder of the punishment for raping a 14-year-old girl. Not only will Glenn Sullivan Sr. be headed to prison for the next 50 years, a judge has ordered that his balls be removed. My next guest demanded Sullivan be physically castrated.
Now, the guy who's obviously running the story, the man out of Houston, which that is one of the most popular news stations on YouTube or anywhere in America. They be popping with the news there. That guy's quite hilarious. He's like the Black Phil Williams from Nashville. Like, these two guys, they get it done when it comes to reporting the news, and they seem to have a nice little jokey, schneidy type of way of reporting the news, which, hey, I don't know where this is. Like, it feels like they report the stuff on pay-per-view, because quite frankly, this dude drops all sorts of F-bombs, GDs. I mean, he be cussing a lot on the news. Now, I know they bleep it out, and I think some of these are investigative works where it's like, we can always edit it out later, but still, like, I mean, this guy's got some pretty vulgar language. Sort of like that guy down from Alabama who was cussing for getting flies and bees in his mouth.
That's the high school that led to Chris Wood's death.
The fuck is that? Yeah! I'm dying in this fucking country-ass fucked up town.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to that. That's kind of the thing he reminds me of a little bit, except I think he's a little bit more presentable with his product, to say the least. Well, I mean, can you really imagine, though, like somebody, you're sitting there in a courtroom, like, I don't want to go back to court, but luckily when I lost my court case about the whole poo in the shower thing, it didn't go this south. Like, they didn't just make up some stuff saying, like, not only is the guy going to be allowed to doodle in the showers, he can take a shit in your bed, too. Like, they didn't go that far. They didn't say, well, Mike, not only do you have to have pink eye for the rest of the semester, you're going to have the pink eye for the rest of your, college career. That's kind of what it was leading to in that circumstance, because I did have pink eye for an entire semester, which, boy, that was a very frustrating experience. Cost me a flag football championship potentially. It was a mess, like, because I couldn't, my eyes were effed up. You were just basically skeeting snot out of your eyes. It was a mess. I mean, it was just awful. That was another experience I just do not want to relive. It's I guess sort of like this guy with his balls getting removed. But then again, I'm pretty sure the woman or the little girl who was traumatized, she's probably got a bigger case to complain. But it makes me start thinking, are we taking things just a tad bit too far? I mean, are we going a little bit above and beyond the level of torture that we should go to? Now, me personally, I think we should absolutely flay this man, because any crime against children, I definitely think you should serve the maximum penalty and the maximum sentence, or the harshest, punishment you can possibly imagine. I mean, I think you personally should pour gasoline on them balls and sacks and everything like that, and just light a match and watch the whole thing burn. Watch that man scream. And I think that's what you should go. But it also makes me start thinking, if we keep going down that route, we're eventually going to start burning people at the stake again. Remember, they were burning witches at the stake. I mean, they were just lighting them on fire in front of people and just having some kumbaya around it with, Moses macaroni pictures and stuff. Like, it was a mess. I mean, people were just doing horrible, heinous things. Think about what happened to poor slaves. Like, people used to murder and do some horrible things back in the day. Like, maybe this could lead us to going back down a direction that we should never go back now. I mean, it's personally kind of scary. Murder is bad. But, like, if we just start tying people up and start cutting every bit of their body off, like, is that what's next? Now, I know this is a little bit crazy and a little dark, but I mean, this story was nuts, literally. Like, full pun intended. Just saying, it was a wild story. I just never heard anything like this. If you have, let me know. Please tell me in the comments. I love comments. I want, there's some dialogue about this, because quite frankly, I just decided to start rambling a little bit more and let people hear some of my wild thoughts, especially if I come across some insane stories like this. Now, another reason why I say I think it might go a little bit too far is because, like anything that we have out there, if it means something, we're going to start trying to monetize it. We're going to eventually start charging money for tickets. There's going to be a price of admission to go watch somebody get burned alive, get their balls chopped off. I mean, there's going to be a line of people that want to see this happen, especially to Geppettos. Those people out there, people are going to want to see bad things happen to them. Like, people line up to watch Lethal Injection. People watch that stuff. It's crazy. I mean, people watch what happened to people in the Green Mile. That happens in real life. People watch sick stuff. Now, is it justified? Sometimes, yeah, but sometimes that guy's innocent. Not in this case, apparently, because he's going to have a baby here soon, which is, that's not something I ever want to have to live through. I mean, I doubt anybody else does. Like, you imagine, like, well, where's my dad? I mean, well, your dad is in prison. He don't ever mention that person. Like, quite frankly, you are a pure accident, but I love you. I love you. And did you guys start thinking about the poor kid in this situation? Because there's a baby here, and I don't think they're going to abort it, because they're probably, I don't know the laws in Louisiana, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're one of those anti-abortion ones, but these are the circumstances where you start thinking, should you or should you not? That's what this is. Do you keep it or not? Because, this was forced. It's not like she wanted this baby. I don't think she consented to this. And it also starts making you think, so what happens? Like, how do you look at that child each and every day knowing that they were born out of pure evil? Like, that baby had nothing to do with any of that. Like, are they gonna name the child Damien? I mean, is that what's gonna happen to him? Now, it's not that's effed up. They shouldn't name the kid Damien. It's not his fault that he was born under these circumstances, and quite frankly, he might truly be an angel named Michael. Like me, my name is Michael. Just saying. I mean, it could be turned out to something great like that. I don't know. So maybe they should do the opposite when that child is born. But then again, that's only if it's a boy. If it's a girl, you can always name her Michelle. But of course, as always, like, share, and subscribe. Hit that button below. We want to grow the channel. I really do want to get up to, that 2K subs, 10K subs, whatever. I want to get up to 1 million. That's probably never gonna happen. Hell, I need something to actually go viral for that to take place. But either way, hit that button down below, hit the bell or whatever that everybody else says, and hopefully you have a great rest of the day. See you soon.